Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to Frameworks for Freedom. It's a brand new show that I created to help us all get free. When you think about where do you go to learn how to have more freedom, there's actually nowhere to go, right? Can't learn it in school, can't learn it there, can't learn it at work. So where do you go? And we didn't have an answer, so we created this space called Frameworks for Freedom in order to help you get free. I love frameworks. Frameworks are so powerful. We all have frameworks that are guiding us. For some of us, we grew up knowing the food pyramid, but then our consciousness elevated and we had to move to a different type of food pyramid, right? You may have known Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is also a pyramid, which is a framework, right? You have 7 habits of highly effective people. That's a framework. You have Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrants from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a framework. The 4 agreements is a framework. There are all these frameworks out there. SMART goals is a framework. There's all these frameworks out there that have been guiding us and supporting us in understanding who we are, where we are, and what to do next in terms of life. And I really believe in the power of frameworks. They're so simple and they can actually transform somebody's life. And so my goal is to help create frameworks that are going to help you have more freedom in your life. And that's what this show is all about. So with each episode, I share a brand new framework to help you navigate this entrepreneur reality that we're all living in. If you don't know what the entrepreneur reality is, the reality is that we're all already entrepreneurs. Whether you are an employee or an entrepreneur, the reality is you are an entrepreneur. An employee is simply an entrepreneur with one big client, their employer. And so we're living in this new world and we have to know how to navigate it. And once we know how to navigate it, we actually can have more freedom. And so that's what this is all about. You know, a lot of us have done everything that we're supposed to, checked off all the boxes, be good, get good grades, go to good school, get a good job, and yet we still don't feel free. We're making good money even, and you still don't feel free. I know millionaires who don't feel free. And so if we all could take a pause for a moment, and we can take a pause, and say, if I had to design this over again and the objective was freedom, how would I actually design my life? And I think a lot of us would have made different choices about careers, about where we lived, how we lived, what we chose to buy. And so we can actually continue to shift our lives towards having more freedom without waiting for retirement to actually be free. So excited to have you here. Go ahead and let me know what you're having for lunch, since this is for your lunch breakthrough. I just ate my lunch beforehand. Got some water here, got some raspiness in my voice from an old cough, so forgive me. But today's teaching is going to be really powerful. And so today we are discussing how to train people how to treat you. I'm going to give you 5 steps in order to do that. You know, they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? And whether you're in any kind of relationship, whether it's with, we're always in relationship, unless you're a hermit on an island somewhere. We're always in relationship. We're in relationship with our significant others, with our children, with our parents, with our siblings, with our colleagues, with our friends, with our community members, with our neighbors, right? All of these relationships are at play at all times. And some of us, especially when there's a power dynamic in the relationship, whether it's a boss, whether it's your top client, when there's power dynamics, sometimes you feel mistreated in that relationship. Raise your hand if you've ever felt mistreated, right? We all have in some sort of way. And we could go through the world saying that these people don't understand me, they don't appreciate me, they've mistreated me, they've abused me, this and that. But the reality is, if you take full responsibility for your life, which is what we teach on this show, it's the only way that you can be free is by actually taking responsibility for the direction of your life and your choices. If you look at your life in that way, how is somebody supposed to know how to treat you? Right? When you come across somebody, let's just say on a first date, for example, and you come from different backgrounds, they weren't trained by your father or your mother in terms of how you should treat my child, right? And even our parents didn't necessarily treat us the best way, right? There's oftentimes a lot of us have friction with our parents, etc. So where or how is somebody supposed to know how to treat you? The only way they can find out is by learning from you. It is actually your responsibility to train somebody how to treat you. And so whenever you feel slighted, somebody stepped on your toes, somebody disrespected you, the reality is that person could naturally feel that that's okay, right? Let's say, for example, sarcasm. You may meet somebody who's very sarcastic, right? But when you hear their sarcastic joke, you feel like you're being undermined, or you feel like you're being made fun of. But sarcasm was how they grew up. Sarcasm is what occurred in their family naturally, right? But because you have different ideas about what great treatment looks like, then they step into your world and you step into theirs, and now you feel that there's some sort of mistreatment. And we can go through the world expecting people to treat us the way we wanted, but the only way somebody can treat you the way you actually want is if you train them. Now, I know that a lot of us have these romantic ideas that I'll find a significant other, my friends, my boss, etc. They just should know how to treat me. There's a standard in your mind of what good treatment or great treatment looks like. But just because that's the standard in your mind doesn't mean that it's the standard in their mind. They have their own gold standard for what great treatment looks like. Okay? So we have this convergence of ideas of what great treatment looks like. Somebody may be comfortable with abuse where somebody else is not comfortable with abuse. And I don't just mean physical abuse, I mean verbal abuse. There's all kinds of abuse that could occur in a relationship. And somebody who doesn't take it personal doesn't feel mistreated. Somebody who doesn't take it personal doesn't feel mistreated. I think that's actually one of the 4 agreements. Don't take it personal, something like that, right? Or what is that? A Monica song? Don't take it personal. Yeah, baby. Right? Don't take it personal. And so, if somebody does mistreat you, or let's me reword that. Not somebody does mistreat you, because usually that's not somebody's intention to mistreat you. But if you feel mistreated by someone, then from there, if you are in constant community with this particular person, then from there, it's actually your responsibility to start to train them on how to treat you right. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to train. You know I like acronyms, right? How to train people how to treat you. Kind of a long title, but it's all good. Okay? So, in the chat area, let me know what you think are some of the ways that you can train somebody how to treat you. I have my computer right here, so let me know some of the ways that you think you can train people how to treat you. Right? If you were trying to train somebody how to treat you, what would you do? What would you say? How would you show them? And again, where do you go learn this stuff? Nobody teaches us this stuff. That's what I'm here to teach you, to share what I'm learning about life and how to have the freedom that you desire. Okay? What are some things you would do? Amparo, great. Treat yourself right first and fairly first, and model that for others. Okay? That's great. That's great. If you aren't clean, like I remember I had some dirty college roommates. And so if think about that, if you aren't clean, how can you expect somebody else to clean around you, right? That's just not going to work, right? It's not going to work. And so you actually have to model it first. Great. Deanna, have honest conversations and expectations. Brenda, the golden rule. Do unto others you would want them to do unto you. I heard the platinum rule, which was do unto, I forgot. There was a platinum rule that was actually better than the golden rule, but I forgot what it was in this moment, so forgive me. Paula, carry myself in a respectful way and live that out. Great. But keep in mind, a lot of this, even modeling is important, but a lot of this is going to have to happen through communication, because you could model and assume that somebody is actually observing you, right? And assume that because I did it for myself this way, that you should do it for myself this way, and that may not be the case. So a lot of this is actually a lot of what I'm going to share with you today is actually going to require speaking. It's going to require, as Deanna said, open, honest conversation and moments where you feel mistreated. Remember, key language, where you feel mistreated, not moments where, oh, they mistreated me. Don't say it like that, right? Because nobody is really out there trying to intentionally mistreat you, right? But there are moments where they may cross over a standard that you have that they didn't even know it was there, and then it's on you to actually train them how to treat you. Okay? Are you getting this? Okay, great. So, oh yeah, I'm powerful. The platinum rule: treat others as they want to be treated, right? Not as golden rule is do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, right? But the platinum rule is treat others based on how they actually want to be treated. And that's what we're actually doing here today. We're engaging in the platinum rule. Thank you, Amparo, for the shout out. Cool. So, first, I got a great acronym for you today, which is T.R.A.I.N. I want you to never, ever forget this, okay? So, first thing you have to do is tell them. I've already alluded to this, but don't assume that anybody, even if they say they love you, knows how to treat you. Never assume anyone. I don't care if somebody's lived with you for 40 years. Do not assume that they know how to treat you. Okay? You have to tell them. You have to use your words. You have to say, I like it when this occurs, right? I like my eggs this way. I like it when you hold the door open for me. I love when you affirm me. I love it when you cook for me. I love it when you give me feedback. If we're thinking more of a professional context, I only open emails from between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. So please do not expect me to respond to an email outside of those hours, right? You ever got somebody who's trying to manage their email and you get an automatic autoresponder that says, I'm only checking emails on Mondays and Thursdays at this particular time, right? They are actually, as annoying as that email may be, they are literally telling anybody who engages with them on a regular basis and is in community with them, they are telling that person, I'm training you how to treat me. This is when I process emails. Now, it may feel inconvenient for the person who's trying to get to them right in that moment, but over time, once you get enough of those pingbacks, right, over time, when are you going to start emailing that person? During those particular hours, right? Those people are taking a bold step, and it's probably not easy to put up that autoresponder. They're taking a bold step to start telling people how they want to be treated, how they want to be communicated with in this particular instance. Cool? Are you understanding this? Cool. So don't assume. Don't assume that anybody knows how to treat you. I know there's this romantic idea that, oh, my true love should know how to treat me. She should just know, or he should just know that I like it like that. No. You have to tell them. Okay? Make it plain. If you really want to be treated, you don't want it to be a guessing game. Make it plain. Okay? I know that may take some of the romance out of it, but if you start getting treated the way that you want to be treated, you're going to feel really loved, right? That's more important than the romantic guessing, right? That, oh, he guessed right or she guessed right. No, just tell them and actually start getting treated the way you want to treat it instead of getting frustrated that this person isn't guessing how to treat you, whether that's a romantic relationship, whether that's a boss, whether that's a client. Take the guessing out of it and just tell people. Cool? So, great. Next one is after you tell them, right, you're going to laugh at this one. After you tell them, you have to repeat yourself. Repeat yourself over and over and over. If you, I'm not calling anybody a dog, but if you are training a dog, right, you have to constantly do it over and over and over until it becomes their way of being, right? Until, what do they call it? Healing, right? Healing when you're walking them and they're supposed to stay by your side. You have to constantly tell them over and over and over until they start to get it. So don't just go tell them once. anytime their memory slips and they forget, you have to repeat yourself. Okay? I just want to remind. So here's a way that it can occur. I just want to remind you that I don't work on weekends. Right? So let's say somebody slipped over and crossed your fence, right? Your treatment fence, or whatever we want to call it. They crossed a standard that you have that they didn't even know existed. Okay? They crossed a standard that you had that they didn't know existed. Okay? So you just have to tell them, I just want to remind you, I don't work on weekends. Right? A client tries to call you on a Saturday morning and say they need something. I just want to remind you, I don't work on weekends. But I will get to it first thing on Monday morning. Right? So when somebody slips or crosses that fence that they didn't even know was there, you have to repeat yourself and remind them. Okay? Are you getting this? You have to remind them over and over and over again until, guess what? Guess how often you have to remind them? Until you no longer have to remind them. You have to repeat yourself until you no longer have to remind them. That's how much you have to repeat yourself. I know this sounds crazy, but it's also so simple. You have to keep telling them until you don't have to keep telling them. Okay? So repeat yourself over and over and over. Don't say, "Oh, I told you last week that." No, don't do it like that. If they cross over the standard that they didn't even know existed, then you just gently remind them again. I want to remind you that I don't do it like that. I want to remind you that I like it when it occurs like this. I want to remind you that I prefer it like this. I want to remind you, I've shared this before, but I want to remind you that I like to receive it like this, right? This is how you get closer to being treated the way you ultimately want to be treated. This sounds like it requires so much work. Is there a patience episode coming soon? Yes, it requires work. It requires work and it requires communication. Okay? So, next, the A. Anybody guess what the A is? Some of you hinted at it before. To start to be treated how you want to be treated, if we apply the platinum rule, which treat others how they want to be treated, then what do? You ask them how they want to be treated. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? If I approach you and I start to ask you how you want to be treated, then what does that automatically do for you? It starts to make you conscious of how you treat me. If I start to ask you, how do you want to be treated? How do you want these reports? How do you want this thing delivered? How do you want your eggs? How do you want the house upkept? If I start to ask you how you want to be treated, you become more conscious of how you're actually treating me. Right? And we start to see that we have differences in how we like to be treated and that those differences are perfectly fine. Right? Again, open communication. Almost everything that I'm sharing with you requires you to use words and not to assume, not to just model and hope that people get you and understand you. We have to communicate. Okay? So ask them how they want to be treated. How do you like you move in with somebody? How do you like your clothes folded, right? You engage with a new client. How do you like email correspondence to occur? What hours actually work best for you for phone calls or meetings, right? You have these kind of conversations. You ask them how they want to be treated, and then they start to become more respectful of the hours that you like to work, the way you like your eggs done, the way you like your clothes folded, right? And guess what? The two may not be the same. You may not care if your clothes are folded. Just throw it in the drawer and let it be wrinkled. I don't care. That's how I roll. Well, I like my whites actually washed separately, right? Please do not wash my whites with my other clothes, right? But you have to articulate that. And you can start that conversation by, in the most selfless way, by asking them how they want to be treated, okay? I hope this is helping. And you can use this for any relationship that you have, okay? So, next one. Again, I said all of this requires communication and words. The next one is you incentivize. I don't even think incentivize is a word. But when a dog does something good and you're training a dog, what do? You give it a treat. Okay? You give it a treat, right? So a treat can come in many different ways. And again, I'm not telling you to think of people as dogs, but a treat could come in the form of an affirmation. I just want to say thank you so much for, excuse me. I want to say thank you so much for doing that. That really meant a lot to me, right? Simple 2 sentences. You affirm them. And what are you doing when you're affirming them? You are actually reinforcing the behavior that they just engaged in. They may not even have known that behavior was how you actually liked it, right? But now that you've actually verbalized and said, I really like that. I love that I came home and the house was clean, right? And I'm talking about dating because it's usually the easiest metaphor to jump into, right? But you affirm them. You give them a treat. I brought you some chocolate. I brought you some flowers. I brought you dinner as a way of saying thank you for what you did the other day, right? You give a client a 5% discount or something extra, right? Because they engage with you in the most productive way, in the easiest way possible to get the work done, right? You incentivize them. You give them some sort of treat, right? Right? But don't just give the treat. You have to give the this is where the words come in. You have to give the justification for why you're giving them the treat, why you're incentivizing them. Incentivize means I want you to do this behavior more, right? I want you to do this behavior more, right? So that is, tell them, repeat yourself, ask them how they want to be treated, incentivize them, and you all know what the N stands for, right? I'm gonna let you guess what the N stands for. What does the N stand for? All ready? The N stands for no. You have to say no more often. You have to say no more often, right? Because people are going to be who they are around you. They're going to do what they want to do. Let's just say you don't allow cursing in your household, or you don't allow shoes in your home, right? Until you tell somebody, no, I don't allow that, or that's not acceptable, then they're going to think it's fine, because it's perfectly fine in not only their home, but in 90% of the homes that they visit, right? It's cool there. But until you actually have the courage to not try to be the Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Nice Girl, and you actually say, no, that's not acceptable. Until you actually draw a line and create a boundary of what is okay and what's not okay, then that boundary will always be tested. No is the clearest boundary that you can create. It is the easiest way to create a boundary, but a lot of us are afraid of ruffling feathers, stepping on other people's toes by actually respecting ourselves. We're willing to put other people's comfort and put other people's comfort ahead of our own. When the moment you say no, I guarantee that person will likely not do that thing ever again. Because most people are not used to getting the word no. They're just not. And so I use the example of cursing or wearing shoes in the house. If a boss touches you in the wrong way, right, or a client comes on to you in the wrong way, and you say no, I guarantee that line is drawn. It is drawn. Husband, wife, a partner does something that is not acceptable for you, you say no. And I want you to say no with compassion, right? Because for them, that behavior may be acceptable everywhere else that they are and everywhere else they exist in the world. But with you, it is not. So don't say no as if assuming that they should have known that, right? Because you don't know anybody's upbringing, right? You don't know that. So just say no. No. I'm not sure how you operate at home or how you operated in the past, etc. But with me, that's not kosher. That's not cool. And that moment may be a tough moment in that relationship, but you will have protected yourself. You have created a boundary that will probably last forever. And they know that when they come in your presence, that behavior is not acceptable. Okay? So I'm going to pause for a moment and look in the chat and see if there are any questions. If this has been helpful, go ahead and share it. Spread the word. I don't think we get this education anywhere else, and so I'm trying to give you the game. This is something that I'm working on constantly, right? Because we are in relationship with a lot of people, right? There are people who are closer than others, but we're in relationship with a lot of people. And so I know that this is something that I've been thinking about, and what's helped me is actually not taking it personal and not assuming that anybody, including my wife, knows how to treat me until I actually start to train them how to treat me. And even as I train them, still be compassionate and have to repeat myself over and over and over again until I never have to repeat myself again, using the word no, asking them how they want to be treated, and incentivizing them to continue to treat me in the ways that feel good. So that was that. That is today's framework. Train. Tell them, repeat yourself, ask them how they want to be treated, incentivize them, and say no. Boom. That right there is going to change your life. I'm certain of it. It's not an easy teaching, but if you actually implement it and apply it, it's going to revolutionize your life and how you relate to people. All right? So with that, I want to say thank you so much for being here. We need to vote really quickly on the next episode. Let me see. So next episode, I just want to let you know I'm going to be on a flight, so it will not be live. I will pre-record it for you so that you have it at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. I want to be consistent, and I'll do whatever I have to be consistent. We're getting into a rhythm now. We're going in episode 6. And so really quickly, go ahead and type in the number of the show that you want for episode 6. Again, it won't be live, unfortunately, because I will be traveling. I did see that somebody earlier wanted number 1. What episode would you want me to do next? Social versus successful friends, 6 types of people in your life, the winners and losers in this entrepreneur reality. We already did how to train people how to treat you, the 6 domains of success, how to ask for help, 7 ways to decrease the demand, 5 criteria for problems worth solving, 4 ways to leave your legacy, and how to sell anything, including yourself. Go ahead and vote. And if you've already voted, please share this video. Spread it if you know it's going to help somebody. Right? If you've had any conversations recently where somebody was like, this person hurt my feelings, or they didn't treat me right, please send them this video. Okay? So I see a vote for number 6. I see a vote for number 10. Take a few more votes, and then we're going to wrap up this episode. Okay? Another vote for number 10. All right. Looks like it's clear. We will be doing how to sell anything, including yourself, for the next episode. With that, I wanted to say thank you for your time. I know that your time is the most valuable thing that you can give anyone, and the fact that you're spending it with me for this lunch break means a lot, and I really care about it. I prepare for these to make sure that the time that we have together is well spent and creates value for you in your life. So with that, I want to say thank you so much. Again, please, the way that I like to be supported, the way that I like to be treated in terms of this episode is for you to go ahead and share this with others so that the word gets out. And again, we have 3 more episodes, episodes 6, 7, and 8 of season 1. And based on all the feedback, right, all your comments, all the shares, we will determine how we move forward with the show. This was all just an experiment, a 1-month experiment, 4-week experiment, to see how people responded to it, to see if the time worked, see if the topics worked, see if the frameworks were resonating with people. And from there, we will determine how to move forward. So if you really want the show to continue, please go ahead and share it, spread the word, spread the love. We see those numbers, and we are grateful and extreme gratitude for you helping us get the word out. So with that, I want to say thank you so much, and I will see you next Tuesday But go join the Freedom Finders Facebook group in order to get Thursday's video on how to sell anything, including yourself. It will be posted there on Thursday at 12:30. And the way to get there is go to freeme.tv. Freeme.tv. That will get you 2 freedom tools that will help you get more free right away. And it'll forward you, once you enter your name and email address, it will forward you to our online Facebook group where you'll find over 3,000 freedom finders, people who are seeking freedom every day in life. Okay, so thank you all so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you live next Tuesday. But join the Facebook group by going here to freeme.tv in order to get the video on Thursday. Okay, wishing you all the best, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.